S-Corp election is not for everyone. I know that everybody's always like, get an S-Corp election. You're going to save tons of money on taxes. This is not always the case. So stick around and we're going to deep dive into S-Corp elections and everything that has to do with the benefits, the cons, and everything around S-Corps. One of the biggest misconceptions is that the S-Corp or the name S Corporation is the business entity itself. This is not the case. Electing to be an S corporation just means that you are electing to be taxed differently than how you would be otherwise. One of the biggest tax benefits around S corporations is that you do have to become essentially an employee to your own business. So doing this, instead of paying yourself as an owner's draw and just taking the money as needed from your business bank account, you do have to pay yourself a reasonable compensation via payroll. So whatever you decide to pay yourself as your salary via payroll now becomes a tax deduction to your business. By doing this alone, it results in significant tax savings for your business, which is why, and one of the biggest reasons why people love S-Corp election. The second component to S-Corp elections is that the remaining profit in the business can be taken as a distribution. And a distribution, it gets rolled over onto your personal income, but you are not subject to self-employment tax on that distribution. So as you can see with the things I've mentioned, being able and having the opportunity to do this can result in significant tax savings for your business. But one of the things that I will, say it to everyone and every single client that I talk to about this is that your business has to be significantly profitable in order for it to be beneficial for you. So we've talked a little bit of the benefits and why S corporations are glamorized around entrepreneurs and businesses, but let's dive into what is required to become an S corp or take that S-Corp election. So one of the biggest things is going to be that you have to be a US-based business. Additionally, you have to have 100 or fewer shareholders, and all shareholders must be US citizens or residents of the United States. You have to be able to maintain and comply with both federal and state compliance rules in regards to S corporations, and you have to make sure that you are running payroll and are maintaining accurate bookkeeping records. How do you stay compliant as an S-Corp election? So one of the biggest things, as I've mentioned a ton in this video, is going to be running payroll. And with that, you gotta pay your payroll taxes and file those payroll taxes as well. Making sure you're filing your annual corporation or business tax return in addition to your personal tax return. So now you don't just file one tax return, you're filing two. I know that if you are a partnership, you are already filing two separate tax returns, but for those of you that are single member LLCs, you are used to just filing one. So this will change if you decide S corporation is the right fit for you. You have to make sure you are keeping meeting minutes for your meetings and for your business, maintaining accurate and payroll reports are going to be very important. And then depending on your state, here in Colorado, we do have state tax as well. So you have to make sure that you're also staying compliant with wage withholdings for your state as well when we talk about payroll tax. Here are some of the cons in terms of the S-Corp election. It's more work. It's going to be more administrative work, payroll-wise and bookkeeping-wise for you as a business owner. There's tons of the payroll requirements for the employee as well and the payroll taxes. And one of the biggest things is going to be the reasonable salary, and the way that you determine that is because if it's too low, then it's a red flag to the IRS. If it's too high, then you're losing out on the tax benefit. And the biggest con around S corporations is that this is not an ideal election for companies that are not profiting a ton of money. The reason for that is because it may cost you more to stay compliant than the actual tax savings if you are not profiting enough money. This is one of the biggest and the main reasons why I advocate a lot, and like I tell every single client, let's take a step back. I know that you heard from who knows who that S-Corp election is the way to go, that it's better, but there's tons of things to keep in mind. Like, have you weighed in the cost of running payroll? And having to outsource, having someone to run payroll for you, or the payroll software, having to outsource someone to help you with the more complex bookkeeping needs for the S-Corp election. There's just so many things to keep in mind that people, whenever they hear that it's the better way or it's the way to go, they don't weigh those things in. Now, when does this make sense? When is it the right move for you? If your business is profiting at least $40,000 to $50,000 each year net profit, then this is the way to go for you, depending on your situation. Every person's situation will vary and it will be very different. So I highly suggest, sitting down with a professional like myself, and just kind of running through your specific scenario. How much is your business profiting? How many expenses do you have? And just considering the actual cost of maintaining this S-Corp election, and then that way you can consider it once viewing the numbers. If you have some additional questions around S corporations, or if you would like me to run just a general scenario of what the tax savings actually look like and what the payroll expenses look like, again, those all vary, but I can definitely do that. So feel free to comment down below or send me a message, and we can definitely talk about this privately, so that we can actually adjust it to your specific business situation, and we can kind of help you work it through. Again, if you're looking to switch into this S-Corp election, you just have to file Form 2553 with the IRS, and then you essentially apply, and they mail it back a letter saying if it was approved or not approved. I know that there is, if it's not filed within a certain time period, it's considered late. But in my experience, most of all my clients' S-Corp election applications have been approved, even if it's been years down the line. So it's definitely something that you can do. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments or send us a message.